February 12, 1909, the NAACP is formed in New York City.
But what tragic event sparked the founding of this organization? And what do the letters NAACP stand for? Also, what impact did the group have on the civil rights movement?
A conference was called in New York City to respond to a 1908 race riot in Springfield, Illinois, the hometown of Abraham Lincoln, on what would have been the former president's 100th birthday. A group of prominent Americans, including black leaders W.E.B. Du Bois and Ida B. Wells, attended the conference. It was there that they formed the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, or NAACP. The organization hoped to tackle the disturbing trend of lynchings, which reached their peak in the 1890s and early 1900s, as segregation laws took hold across the South in the wake of the Supreme Court's 1896 Plessy v. Ferguson decision, which justified segregation on the separate but equal principle. In 1917, the NAACP staged a 100,000-person silent march in New York City to bring awareness to the lynching epidemic. In 1915, the group won its first major legal victory when the organization succeeded in getting Oklahoma's grandfather clause, which had barred many blacks from registering to vote, declared unconstitutional by the U.S. Supreme Court. The NAACP's most famous legal win came in 1954 with the landmark Brown v. Board of Education decision, which overturned the flawed principle set forth in Plessy v. Ferguson in a unanimous decision. Chief Justice Earl Warren's opinion declared that separate education facilities are inherently unequal. Thurgood Marshall, through his NAACP Legal Defense Fund, was the lead attorney on Brown v. Board. That victory, of course, led to desegregation of schools, but it did even more. The decision became the legal foundation for the civil rights movement. In fact, many would say the civil rights movement began with Brown v. Board in 1954. Marshall accomplished this against the backdrop of great personal tragedy, as his wife of 25 years, Buster, was battling lung cancer. She initially hid the illness from her husband, fearing it might distract him from his work on the case. She died just 9 months after the decision came down. Thurgood Marshall also played a major role on the legal front with the Little Rock Nine, the black high schoolers in Arkansas who tested Brown v. Board 3 years after the landmark decision was rendered. In total, Marshall argued 32 cases before the U.S. Supreme Court and won 29 of them. There was no better choice for the nation's first black Supreme Court justice, which he became under President Lyndon Johnson in 1967. Here are other events that happened today in history. In 1789, Vermont patriot Ethan Allen, leader of the Green Mountain Boys, dies of a stroke at age 52. In 1793, Congress passes its first fugitive slave law, requiring all U.S. states to forcibly return escapees. In 1809, Abraham Lincoln, the U.S. president who led the nation through the Civil War, is born in Kentucky. In 1912, the last emperor of China is forced to abdicate his throne, ending 2,000 years of imperial rule. In 1973, the release of U.S. POWs begins as part of the agreement that ends U.S. involvement in Vietnam. In 1999, President Bill Clinton is acquitted of charges by the U.S. Senate, ending his impeachment trial. In 2002, former Yugoslav President Milosevic faces an international tribunal for genocide and war crimes.
And now, it's time for our Today in History quiz.
In 1997, a container ship tipped off the coast of England, spilling approximately how many Lego pieces into the sea? 48,000? 480,000? 4.8 million? Or 48 million?
Liked learning about the NAACP? Then you'll love this one about the Little Rock Nine. Tap the screen to keep the story going, on Today in History.